Now, I want to talk a little bit about the College of the Canyons. And not just College of the Canyons, but government in general. The when you have one party rule or one team rule, or we were talking about, you don't want the frat boys running the game, running the show all the time. So here in the College of the Canyons now, they've got 4 seats, 4 of 5 seats. This is like unheard of in being replaced. And there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to talk about. And the people that really want control of those seats, I don't think should have control of those seats from a standpoint of any kind of union, California Teachers Union, what have you, thinking that only teachers should be in those roles. If those roles make up the community, they should be business people, parents, whatever, not just all educators. Carl Goldman joins us to talk about his editorial up. You can find it on the hometown station right now. Carl, you wrote a great piece about what this really should look like.
Yeah, Joe, it's really upsetting. First of all, I got a quiz for you guys. Guess
Oh, here we
who
go.
was governor and came to the opening of the College of the
I
Canyons?
know.
Oh man, I'm gonna
He
go
doesn't know anything
Let's-
before like
let's-
Ronald Reagan.
1991.
You got it.
Wow, really?
Ronald
Oh,
Reagan
Yeah,
came
you
God.
see that? Look at that.
No, no, you Googled it there.
No,
I
I
can
did
tell.
not.
Like
That's
Ronald
me,
Reagan
yeah.
came to College of the Canyons, and in fact, Bruce Fortine was one of the trustees, so he was there with Reagan. And if you ever run into Bruce Fortine around town, you should hear that story. It's a fun story. Anyway, the problem is we love College of the Canyons. Diane Van Hook, who headed it for so many decades, did a tremendous job of really making it the best community college in the country. And I did many trips with her to Sacramento and to Washington. Jerry and I did, and watched the magic that Diane was able to pull in terms of getting funding and being able to have the vision for what community colleges will become in 2024. The problem, Joe, that we have right now is that she's gone. The board itself is up for was 5 brand new board members are
Yeah,
up
pretty
for
much, you're
election
right, yeah.
because Joan McGregor, who retired in August, waited. I'm not clear why, but she waited to make sure the board appointed her replacement rather than choosing to resign back in June when it would have been up for election. We would have had all 5. But the disturbing thing is that the teachers union has put in a tremendous amount of money to pick candidates to run against the 4 board members, and we could end up with a situation where all 5 of the board members there are beholden to the unions. So I use the analogy of Detroit. Imagine if the auto workers union went to bargaining with no one representing the auto companies themselves. And where you have that same problem could take place here with College of Kansas. And you know this, Joe, as a board member for Hart. Imagine if your board had all 5 members that had 70% of their campaign donations paid for by the union. What would happen when you would go into contract negotiations?
Oh, it's the union negotiating for the union with the union. That's exactly what it would be. And we are having that to a degree right now where the union is backing 2 members, 2 outside non-incumbents, and throwing all kinds of money at them and help at them to try to get them on the board, in which case we'd have three of the 5 would be teachers.
And we're not advocating for the board not to have any educators, but to have a balance of the community. That's what a community college is. It's for the community. It is not a private institution. And I raise that other point is it's one thing in Detroit to have a private company like Ford bargaining with their workers for money, but in the public sector, that's our money. Menji, I just saw some of the dollars out of your pocket go to College of the Canyons. How did that happen?
I'm not sure, but I hope you spend it well.
No, but to your point, Carl, you're right. I mean, if you had all of one kind on the board, and I don't care what it is, you can't have all businessmen, you can't have all real estate agents, all just parents. You've got to have a mix on the board to represent different parts of the community, and I think that's what they keep forgetting. And again, if I'm the union, frankly and honestly, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not getting what I want most of the time. I need to get what I perceive as my representation on the board. But I wish people would understand that the board doesn't go into meetings. They don't go into negotiations going, okay, we're gonna make sure the union doesn't get what they want. It's our job is to make sure that it's a true fiduciary responsibility to look at what money is coming in, what do we need for the kids, what do we need for we need to make sure we have all the money we need to operate properly.
And negotiation is a give and take, so that you have to give up something from both sides in order to come up with a happy compromise. One of the other points I make in the editorial that's on hometownstation.com right now is that usually you interview all the candidates and then make a decision on who you're going to endorse,
Right.
or at least you do some research. Well, guess what? The union chose all their candidates before the candidates were even all selected out there. So in other words, even the registration time for running
Yeah.
didn't occur before the union already jumped in with choosing their candidates.
Yeah.
So they didn't interview and didn't have a chance to even take a look at some of the other candidates.
It's funny. Most people though won't. They'll do more research on buying a car than they will on who's running their local education systems. And so when you look at the people that are running right now on both sides, it's time to do your homework. I mean, I won't mention names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But you've got one young man who's run for pretty much any open seat he can get his hands on, and he's got himself listed as a financial advisor at one of them. And I'm going, you just barely get out of high school. How can you be a financial advisor? You really have to look at what these people are doing, what they've been involved with, and what they have going on. It's amazing to me that we're putting our kids, our young people, into these places, and we're not doing the homework it takes to make sure they get a good education.
And it's a real problem. Hopefully, people will do their research and know that this election in November is going to be critical. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, go do the homework and look down the ballot and get educated on your board members for COC, your board members for the school districts, both Hart and your elementary school districts, and the water agencies, because water is also a very, very important issue. We're going to come up with our endorsements. We've been doing our homework, and sometime later this week or early next week, we'll be posting all of KHTS endorsements on there. And Joe, all I can say is it's a good thing you're not running.
I know, right? I am. This happens every 4 years, and you look at what people are saying. We're hearing it with the ads. It's like I've always said the same thing. If you've got a good product, you don't have to lie about it, right? Talk about what you've done. Talk about what you want to do and how you're going to get that done, and leave it at that. You don't have to beat up on your opponent all the time. It's really getting worse at every election cycle. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And from the top down, whether we look at the presidential race and some of the information or misinformation that's coming out on that, all the way down to our local elections.
Oh yeah, and the local ones have always been tough. And now you've got more and more, a lot more money being thrown at even elementary school races, which at one point in time it cost you almost nothing to run for elementary school. Now, even give you the idea, the Hart District is between $40,000 and $60,000 if you want to do an honest, real race. Just to put out mail pieces are almost 75 cents a piece.
And to put that in perspective, what did you spend the first time you ran for the Hart Board?
15,000.
So it's jumped from 15,000 to 70 or
You
80,000.
can get that high, yeah.
For that
It
seat.
can. It's crazy, and it's in the council races, it can be 100 plus. So and it shouldn't be like that. Not a community like ours.
And the important thing about College of the Canyons that impacts all of us, not just because the school's so great in mixing into the community, they have a population of close to 25,000 students, and I believe it's 40 or 50% of the Hart graduates. And you
Oh,
can
yeah.
tell me how many from Hart, from the district of our kids, end up matriculating into College of the
Oh,
Canyons.
you're right. It's between 40 and 50%, and they go there for their gen eds, and some of it is dual enrollment. They're actually going through their senior year. They get an AA before they get their high school diploma sometimes, depending on how much they go through it. So, it's very important to our community.
Right, and COC has Academy of the Canyons, which is part of the Hart District. They have worked closely with the new programs over at Castaic High School. So College of the Canyons is a very, very important piece of the puzzle that makes Santa Clarita so great. So all of us need to keep our eye on the ball on this one.
All right, people, head over to hometownstation.com where you can find the article. Read it. Carl, thanks so much for being with us this morning. Appreciate your time with us.